Hello, everybody. Welcome back to BnB Anime. Also, welcome back to Anime Island, the show where I, your illustrious host, Brad Guerin, strand my very unfortunate, or fortunate, depending on how you want to look at this guest, on a deserted island. However, I am not such a heartless bastard that I strand them there with no entertainment or nothing of the sort. So, outside of, the bare necessities, food, water, lodging, all that fun stuff, I'm going to give them 3 anime of their choice, whatever they want to choose, to be burned onto a DVD to take with them. Along with those 3 anime, I'm going to give them a book, a novel, or a film, an album, and a video game of their choice. So, with all that being said, my first guest, or only guest for today, because he's special, he cool, he fancy, is good friend of mine, NiccoMoe. Nick, how the hell are you?
I'm good, bro. What's up?
Oh, chilling.
Chilling. Yeah, hell yeah. Well, hello. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome. How are you liking your stay on the island so far? I hope everything is up to, par of some shape, form, or fashion.
It's pretty good, but I could use some entertainment, so.
Well, if there is anything that I am good for here, it is going to be entertainment. However, before entertainment, my first question is, what kind of brought you into the world of anime? What got you started down the path of animation?
Oh man. Well, kind of a story. So when I was younger, I probably first watched anime when I was like 4th grade, 5th grade or so. I had a friend who was really into it and he would talk about it a lot. So I kind of tried it out for a little bit, but I kind of was in that culture of like, if you watch anime, you're a wee bit of loser. So I was like, I can't watch it. I can't be part of that culture. So I deprived myself of all that beautifulness for years. But over the past, a couple of years ago, I realized that was all bullshit, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't really, up until like a few months ago, I hadn't really actually taken the time to be like, you know what, I'm gonna get back into it. Let's start watching some shit because I hear a lot about it. Got a lot of friends who are into it. Hear amazing things about it. Why not? So a lot of what I know has just actually been in the past few months, but I've seen some stuff over the course of the years too, but I haven't been really into it until recently. So
Now, what was the first show that kind of got you into it, or rather, what kind of got you back into it?
It's actually the same show for both answers. So the first ever anime I recall, watching is probably Dragon Ball Z. But first ever anime I really like, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z was just something that was on like Adult Swim after 10 o'clock. So, that was just there. I never really gave it a proper watch, but one that really got me into it was Sword Art Online.
It's such a good starter anime for everyone. So I get that.
Very much like it was because I was so into video games and gaming that I was like, yo, a TV show about it would be awesome. So I think I watched it when it first came out, when the first season came out. And I fucking loved it. So I watched it a really long time ago when that happened. And that was like 4th or 5th grade, or it might have been like middle school. I don't remember. I'm not very good with time, but
I think SAO came out in like 2012-ish, somewhere around in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that would have been like early middle school, late elementary for me, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a young boy. But
anyways. Damn, I forget how young you are.
Yeah,
now I feel old.
I'm only 20 years old. I'm a little baby.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that was the first anime I watched, and I really liked it. And because there's so much stuff I really like about it. But I'll get into that later. But yeah, that's what really got me into it. And then I remember starting the Gun Gale Online arc, and then never finishing it. Because that was around the time where I kind of dropped anime. And then probably 6 months ago or so, I was like, yo, I kind of want to rewatch that. I really liked that show when I was younger. I should give that another watch. And so I did, and I saw there was so much more fucking content released, and I was like, okay, let's go. And so
oh my goodness, there's so much.
So I've watched all of it now, except the movies. I haven't, at least the new movie. I don't know if it's out yet, but I haven't really dug into it. But I've watched like all of it now, and I fucking love it.
So there's two films. You have Ordinal Scale
Yeah,
that took
yeah.
place in the time frame between seasons 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Progressive, which goes back and retells the entire original arc, but it's a floor by floor retelling.
Oh.
I'm collecting the Progressive manga because for me, for one, the manga for SAO is much more of a favorite of mine rather than the show, because the manga is not a harem at all. Whereas the first season of SAO, it's a borderline harem anime, if I'm going to be truthful. At least for me, I love SAO with all of my heart. But the first season's kind of a harem.
Yeah. I that's totally fair. I don't disagree.
So if the SAO incident would be real, because it is 2022, which is whenever SAO takes place in the actual timeline. If the SAO incident were real with the same repercussions of the show, would you do it?
I think I would, honestly.
Same.
I like, dude, this world's already going to shit. Like, it would be, fuck it, dude. If I'm going to go out, it's going to be cool as shit, at least.
Right? Why not?
So,
I mean, we're both gamers.
Yeah, I would do it. I think I would do it. And, like, I mean, I guess I say that now, but if it were to actually happen, who knows what I would actually do, but I feel like I would.
Yeah, you know? I totally get that 100%. So outside of that, we touched on the fact that you're a gamer, but also you stream or have streamed. I realize you're a very busy individual right now, but what got you into the world of streaming or content creation in general?
Well, content creation is something I've been following for a very fucking long time, since the early days of YouTube when I was just a wee lad. So I have always loved watching people make content, specifically gaming content. I've always loved the idea of being able to combine, a passion of, like playing games, enjoying time with friends, having funny moments, and being able to turn that into something that can legitimately be either a career or just some sort of professionality that you can, have something that you can be more than just like a hobby, but something you can share with other people and appreciate and work towards, and just something it just makes it all that more fulfilling. So something I've liked for a really long time, and of course I always wanted to do it when I was younger. I feel like every child nowadays wants to be a YouTuber, but I was one of those. So but I hadn't really tried doing anything for myself, because obviously I was, for one, too young and just too naive to really understand the full extent of it. But me and my girlfriend, Bonk Bing Bonk, decided that it was kind of something we were both kind of interested in. We realized that, like, hey, this is something we could actually do. So we both kind of started live streaming on Twitch around the same time. We chose live streaming over like video production and stuff, because I feel like it's a good way to get your foot in the door and like learn how to produce content without fully learning like the commitments of video editing and following a schedule and stuff like that. You kind of just do it as you please and learn as you go. So that's what we started out with, and it worked really well. And she's still going strong. She's doing great. She's having awesome growth. I was doing pretty all right. I'm just a very busy person, so I'm kind of on a hiatus right now. I do eventually plan to return, maybe in summer when I'm more free or something like that. But I have some good ideas lined up for when I do. So I'm gonna make it work one way or another. I'll be back. I really like it. So
yeah, that's very exciting, because not gonna lie, I know Bonk was talking about this the other night whenever she was watching the interview that she did with Watch Holly. But genuinely, you were one of my favorite streamers to watch. I realized I met Bonk first, but then through her getting introduced to you and the rest of the OBF fam, just watching your streams, it's genuinely one of the most entertaining things that I've ever got to watch. It's great.
Yeah, it's very that's very inspiring to me, like hearing people say that, because like it makes me want to do it even more, even though I mostly obviously do it for myself, but of course like having that reinforcement always helps too, so that gives me a little bit more drive to make it work. So I'm very excited. If you genuinely do want to see more, stay tuned. It will be back soon.
Yes,
near future.
And we'll let you spell out your actual plug whenever we get to the plug portion of the podcast, because it's not hard, but at the same time, I think it needs spelling.
That's fair. Yeah, it's an odd name.
Yeah, but it's great. NiccoMoe. I mean,
NiccoModee.
NiccoModee.
So catchy now, yeah.
So, your first offering of what I'm going to burn onto a DVD for you on this deserted island, what is it going to be?
So I've thought about this a lot. Well, I mean, since we were talking about it, I think I would choose Sword Art. It holds a really special place in my heart, no matter
Hmm.
how cringy some of the stuff in it may be. I
Oh,
really
I get that
really enjoy
100%.
it. The cringe is, I don't know, it hits a special spot in my heart.
Hmm.
I'm a sucker for the love stories. I love the action. I don't know. I love badassery. All right, it gets me. Okay, so
I get that
I
100%.
really really enjoyed the new season. The new Alicization arc. I thought that was wonderful.
Hmm.
Um, I'm very excited to see what comes next. Hopefully, it's not like too milked or too bad, but considering what they've done so far, I think it'll be pretty good. So I
Hmm.
actually really enjoyed that, and I didn't know if I would. So despite me having seen it a lot, I think it's something I could watch over and over for a very long time because it does hold. It just hits a sweet spot inside of me. So I think that'd be one of my choices for sure.
So, what about it outside of the gaming aspect is appealing to you from it? Are you an animation kind of guy? Are you a soundtrack kind of guy? Because
A
SAO
little,
definitely
yeah,
got a huge animation buff from
yeah,
Alicization on, or I guess Ordinal Scale is whenever
mhm,
it really picked up, and then
right.
it carried over into seasons 3 and 4. So, what outside of that is appealing to you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, definitely all of that.
Mm,
I think the animation is very appealing. It's very intricate, fun to watch. I really do enjoy the soundtrack, the openings and the opening music they chose for each thing, especially for like the little like very small arcs they had happen in between the Gun Gale arc and the
mm,
Alicization arc with like Mother's Rosario and stuff like that. Like the music choice in those was fucking wonderful.
oh,
I
100%.
watched it every single time. Like normally I skip through them, but like
Mm,
I had to watch them through every time because I enjoyed it, and the way they would sync up like their movements with the music. Oh, it was perfect. I loved it.
mm.
So the music definitely was great. I feel like the season one music is just super iconic as well too. So even that's a great choice.
Yeah, Lisa can definitely do no wrong in the anime community, but Crossing Field is an all-time top
Hmm
10 for I think most anime fans.
hmm Yeah.
So I 100% get that.
Yeah, it was awesome. The animation definitely ramped up. You're right. So that was really cool, especially in like the Alicization with all the like the system call animations and shit like that. Like that was super
Hmm.
cool. The oh my gosh, and like all the especially when they would like use their weapons and do like the full recollection moves and shit like, oh my gosh, it was
Hmm.
so cool, and they had so many different versions of that, and it was just beautiful to watch. So I really like that. So the animation was great, the music was great. Just the overall plot in general, it was pretty good. Again, I think everybody can agree there was a lot of cringy moments throughout it, but they're pretty funny and enjoyable to have.
Hmm.
And despite that, I'm still a sucker for the love story and shit. It hit a sweet spot in my heart when I was younger, and it still hits a sweet spot today.
Hmm.
So that's, I don't know, pretty much every part of it. I love it. Um, it feels like something that could. I think the idea of it's really cool. I think it's something that could kind of genuinely maybe happen one day, but not necessarily anytime soon. Definitely not 2022.
Hmm.
But I don't know, the realism of it, like the weight that it carries throughout the show, felt really cool. Just seeing how like the effects, like the mental and physical effects it had on the characters. I don't know, very cool. I like. There's not really a bit of it I don't like, other than the parts that make you cringe a little bit. But other than that,
Hmm.
it's great. So some I could
So
definitely watch time and time again.
yeah, 100%. So what's your favorite and least favorite arcs out of the show?
Um, oh, favorite is definitely the Mother's Rosario arc. Like that
Hmm.
shit made me ball, dude, ball. I loved it. Again, like that also had my favorite music.
Hmm.
Um, I thought the story was very wholesome, very cute. I don't know. I liked it a lot. It made me very happy to watch that
Hmm.
arc. And I'm not a big fan of like filler. transition one-off arcs and stuff like that, but it's definitely earned my spot as number one. Least favorite, probably the Gun Gale. I liked it. I know it's not a big like people don't like it that much among the community. It's not their favorite. But I didn't hate it. I mean, it was okay. I mean, just compared to all the other stuff, it's just not as good in my opinion. But it's 100% still worth watching. I thought the story was still really cool. It just didn't have the same. I didn't have the same level of intensity as like following season one, where season one you had millions of people whose lives were constantly in danger and whatnot, and then season two kind of just follows like a couple characters who are really in danger. So it scales down the level of intensity, but the way it's directed makes you still feel it in some ways, even though it's not on such a large scale. It was still enjoyable to watch, but compared to the other stuff, it's just not as deep in the story and whatnot. So it was all right though. I didn't hate it. It's just not my favorite out of all of them for sure.
Understandable. One thing that I love about SAO and the fandom itself is everybody has different takes on what their favorite arc is, what their least favorite arc is, and the reasoning behind it. So it's always awesome to talk to people about it, because also, generally unpopular opinion, but I know that you'll agree with me on this, SAO is extremely underrated.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it got such a bad rep after the first fairy arc because of how weird things got.
Yeah.
And then they dropped it and they never paid attention to anything after that. And if they would pick it back up and give it a chance, it's totally worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's, and especially once you get into Alicization, like wow, like the fucking, oh my gosh, that one just pulls on your heartstrings, like, every which way, and it's just so cool to see him. I guess I've probably already said a million spoilers, but spoiler, like having Kirito like just like the main character that everybody loves and has been watching just be a badass, just like completely MIA or like just like useless for like most of the season, and just seeing how all the other characters like look up to him and revolve around him and how much they like depend on him and shit. And then when he finally like, regains his consciousness, he's just fucking badass. Like that, like, I don't know, that is so much freaking cooler than what they did in like season 2 and stuff, and with the fairy arc and whatnot, that like I feel like a lot of people who gave it up after that are being deprived of that,
Yeah, 100%. And the ability they have to call back to old spots, like especially during the fight with the Oracle or the administrator, whenever they call back to Kirito's whole dual wielding ability, and the way that they do that, it was so good.
So cool. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it's great. It really is peak storytelling. So to everybody out here listening, you're getting a double endorsement on this episode. Go check it out, because it's totally worth it.
It just gets better and better.
It really does.
Season 2 is like, okay, but once you pass that, you're like, goddamn, glad I watched past it. They were right.
Yeah, 100%. If anything, just stick around for the OPs, EDs, and the animation budget increase, because it's so pretty.
Absolutely.
All right. So, outside of your anime choices, I've already said I will give you a few other items. So, book.
I'm not a big book reader, but my favorite book of all time is 1984 by George Orwell. That'd probably be what I pick, because there's a lot to unpack in that book. I feel like it's something you can read a lot and find something new every time, or like interpret something differently, or just find something new you didn't read beforehand. And it's a big book, so like it takes some time to get through each time, but there's just a lot to unpack with that book. So I think it's a really cool. If you have all the time in the world, it'd be a really cool opportunity to really look through what everything means, really analyze every paragraph, read it through carefully, and like, just, I don't know, there's so much it can tie into. It's a timeless novel. It's very cool. Like it's super impressive what ideas he was able to convey in 1948 that are so relatable to now in 2022.
Mm,
It's insane to understand. He was a fucking genius author. So
mm.
super, super cool book. I haven't read it in quite a while. It's been a couple of years, but I own like 3 different copies just because I love the artwork that they always make for the covers. But that'd probably be the book I choose. I really like it.
And then, so with this being an anime podcast, I got to ask, are you a manga fan? Are you into collecting anything like that?
Not anymore. I used to be, and I might get back into it, but again, I'm not a big reader.
Mm,
I have a hard time reading and staying focused during reading. That's why I like shows so much, because it's easy to stay engaged for me.
understandable.
But
I get that.
I do enjoy when I get into a book or like a manga or anything that's really enticing. I get into it and I blow through it. So I think I would like to start reading a lot of the manga, and especially like some of these series that I've been watching the anime adaptations from, that I know have like much longer mangas, like Demon Slayer, and like all that. Like I would love to read the mangas of those and see what's similar, what's different, and see what happens beyond what's been produced already.
Mm.
So I think that'd be really cool.
So, since you talked about Dragon Ball and Demon Slayer both, so I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. However, I plug the hell out of them
Yes.
because it's genuinely one of, in my opinion, the best deals that you can find whenever it comes to manga. So, Viz
Yeah.
Media, that does a lot of the translations for English manga, especially shonen,
Mm-hmm.
they have an app. And for $2 a month, you can read as much shonen as you could possibly want.
Wow.
They have all of Demon Slayer, Food Wars, Dr. Stone, Dragon Ball, like
Oh my
just
God.
peak shonen. They have it all, and you can read it all again as much as you could possibly want for $2 a month.
Wow. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check
Yeah,
that out. That's really cool.
I pay for it just because I like to read manga. I realize I'm filling up a shelf full of it.
Yeah,
But
I've seen it. I've seen it.
yeah, but I will gladly read it on my phone because, I mean, for one, I want to try to keep my manga in as good condition as possible.
That's fair.
But two, I don't know. I like reading things on my phone. I'm weird, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. It's nice. It's I don't. It's a lot easier, to be honest. Like, you don't have to hold the page open and like bend the shit out of the spine of the book to hold it comfortably and read in good lighting. Like, it just all does that for you, so you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about it.
that is true because I grew up in the age where I had a Game Boy growing up, and those things didn't have backlights. So if you didn't have like the little USB port overhead light or a light on in the car if you were playing
Yeah.
out and about to piss off parents, then you just didn't get to play.
I also had one of those when I was younger too, actually, and I remember like every time, because my parents wouldn't let me turn on the lights in the car because it distract them.
Mhm.
So every time I'd pass by like a street light, for like the couple seconds that I'd pass by it, I'd like do as much as I could on my game and then pause and wait for the next street light.
Oh, I love that so much.
I feel like a lot of people did that too. So I don't know. I just remember doing that, and I was like, I'm like, God, imagine just having an illuminated screen. Like,
Yeah, and then within a couple of years, we got it, and we're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, technology! What have
I
you
know.
done?"
Well, when I had it at my age, but I started like, even though I had like newer technology out when I was younger, I still started with like the first Game Boys that came out and kind of progressed as the years went on, which was still cool because I still got the experience that a lot of other people did.
Yeah, and we definitely triggered some memories for some people out there, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
And so, what album would you take and why?
Probably. There's so many fucking choices. I think I'd probably take a Coldplay album. That's my favorite
Mhm.
band. Probably Ghost Stories would be my choice.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're super familiar with what's on it, but that has a lot of really just like more chill, laid back, but still like emotional and passionate songs. And like I have probably listened to the songs on that album, no joke, like 500 times each.
Mhm.
And they're not old. Like I love them. I could listen to them all day long. they're my favorite band. Like that'd probably be my choice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not that album, another album from them. But I can listen to their music on repeat without it getting old in my head, which is rare
Mm-hmm.
for me. So that I think that'd be my choice.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of has that one artist or one album or even one song that they can just put on at any point and just listen to it nonstop and just never get tired of it, regardless of how much you listen to it.
Absolutely.
All right. So, second anime.
All right. So kind of funny that we were talking about this earlier, but I think I would choose Dragon Ball for the sheer length that it is. Because if I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, it's great to watch an anime over and over that I really like again, but I also want something that can have a lot of longevity. And if we count all of Dragon Ball as one anime, then that's a good chunk of time that I can dedicate. And especially if I watch it a few times throughout the time I'm on this island, like that's going to keep me busy for quite a while because it's a very long series.
Yeah,
so
I think Dragon Ball has like 89 episodes. Dragon Ball Z has 119. And I know Super has 131.
Yeah, so if we count, like, if I could, like, take all three of those together and count it as one, then I think I would. If I had
it's your episode, so you kind of make the rules.
If we're playing by those rules, then absolutely, because that's just so much fucking content to go through. So like I could watch that forever and, let it never, and that would be something that would really keep me busy for a long time. And I love the story of Dragon Ball, but god damn, no other show can make 5 minutes stretch into 30 episodes. So it really does keep you busy for a long time.
It really does. So do you want to piss some people off with a hill you'll die on?
Sure.
So GT or no GT?
I think it's worth watching. I would say yeah.
Okay.
I could live without it, but like, yeah. I mean, again, if we're going for maximum content here, then yes.
Yeah, it's one of those things for Dragon Ball fans. I love to talk with them about things, especially GT, because GT is either a love it or you hate it. Or there are the few people like myself that will pick certain things out, like Super Saiyan 4, very cool form.
Yeah.
And there are certain bits in it that were really good, but then some that were really, really bad.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely is not the same level as the rest of the anime. But I think it's worth watching still. Absolutely. Like I definitely like when I do watch through Dragon Ball, I definitely watch it. So, and I love Monkey. So Super Saiyan 4 all the way.
I could get that. I get that 100%. So, have you watched all the way through it, or are you caught up at least through Super?
I haven't watched very much of Super at all, actually. So I'm really, so again, that's another thing. It's like a lot of this I'd probably watch it for the first time. I've seen most of Dragon Ball, all of Dragon Ball Z, GT, but I don't think I've seen very much. I think I've seen like a few episodes out of Super. Because that is newer, and again, like I only got back into anime recently, so I haven't really got a chance to. But I definitely will be soon. I just hope it's not as full of filler as Dragon Ball Z is.
So Super has very little filler. Like it has a couple episodes sprinkled here or there in between arcs, but what shonen doesn't, and I guess more modern day shonen is really good about not putting as much filler. But the good thing about Super is it wasn't going up against a manga at the time that it had to follow along with. So you need to stretch it out as much as possible to give the manga as much time to breathe.
Yeah.
As possible. Super came out before the manga was written. So the manga just kind of served for Super as to fill in a little extra details here or there. So, but yeah, Super is definitely not nearly as filler filled as others. So
yeah, I know it's definitely an easier watch. Really enjoy it. So I'm definitely going to take a look. I'm definitely going to get into it at some point, but I got a lot of that I'm working on right now to just catch up in general in the whole culture. Like right now I'm watching, like I just finished Demon Slayer. I'm watching My Hero right now. I'm also watching Attack on Titan again because I only had seen like the first season. So I'm just doing like a lot of catch up in general.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll hit super.
And you're definitely catching up on staples too, because I know AOT is getting ready to end. My Hero just announced that it's dropping season 6 in autumn.
Right, yeah. And I'm blowing through My Hero. I started it like a week ago. I'm already on season 3.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
love that
And
show, dude.
it's so good. I mean, don't get me wrong. Season 1 is a little bit of a drag, at least as for somebody that's watched the first season 6 or 7 times now. Because My Hero is one of my go-tos for like getting somebody hooked on anime. I'm like, hey, do you like superheroes? If so, watch this, because it's a very accurate representation of what a superhero society would be like.
I thought it was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But then also you're getting into the really good shit too. Like seasons 3, 4, and 5 are some of my favorite bits, period, of pretty much any shonen. So you're getting into the really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that because if you've ever seen The Boys on Netflix or on Amazon Prime, it's a live action show, but it's similar in the way that it like depicts superheroes in a more real, quote unquote realistic setting, like what superheroes would actually be like versus just, you know, your traditional Marvel DC superheroes that have mainstream powers. Like these guys are more, no pun intended, quirky, right? They have a lot more unique, like interesting powers, and not just your traditional run of the mill flying, super strength, super speed, like boring shit, you know? That's seen in everything ever. So it's really cool. Like, and God, the amount of stuff they have to come up with too. I was like, oh my God, like how do you even come up with half of these powers, you know? So it's just really cool. It feels a lot more like what superheroes would probably actually be like. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. It's pretty good. And I almost consider putting that on my list today, but I was like, I haven't seen the full thing yet. I can't really for sure say. I actually avoided watching it for the longest time too, because I had heard the fandom is either really cool or really fucking weird.
Oh, the My Hero fandom give us all such bad names.
So
and I've met some really cool
yeah.
My Hero fans, but at the same time, if you pay any attention to Twitter, TikTok, or anything like that, the My Hero fandom sucks, man.
Yeah, and that's why I avoided it for so long. So I was like, what fucking show is making people act like this, bro? I don't want to see that. But it was mostly like listening to you and shit talk about it. I was like, okay, it's coming from a person who has never given me a bad recommendation. Let's try it out. And you were right. So,
and then on that note, how are you still enjoying My Dress Up Darling?
Fucking love it, dude. So good. It's so funny. I love it. Oh my god.
Oh, it's so brilliant. And whenever I first saw the trailer for it, I immediately fell in love with it. But then I saw Cloverworks was making it, and I'm like, fuck, you guys are going to fuck over every expectation I have again. Because have you seen The Promise Neverland?
No, I haven't actually.
So to give you the overarching bit of it without spoiling anything, the first season took the entire world by storm. Everybody loved it. They perfectly captured psychological horror to a T. Every episode ended on a cliffhanger, and it was just one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. Season 2, they crammed 100 chapters of manga into 6 episodes.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, yeah.
I have never been so upset with something in my life. I was so upset that you could take something that was so universally loved. Everybody in the anime fandom loved that show.
Yeah.
And they screwed it up.
That's fine.
So, yeah, that definitely hurt me. But I was like, you know what? It looks pretty. I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
And I was immediately hooked. I am a huge sucker for romance, for slice of life anime in general. I rewatch Your Lie in April every year in April. I just adore stuff like that. So this show,
it's on my queue.
It's so good. You're gonna have your heart ripped out.
I know, I know I will, but it's on my queue. You talk about it so much, so I'm like, I gotta watch this one.
I can't not. It's my favorite anime of all time. But this show just genuinely stole my heart and is without a shadow of a doubt winning my anime of the year this year. I don't give a shit that we're in March as we're recording this episode. Anime of the year.
Hell yeah.
Oh. All right. So before we carry on to your movie and video game that we're going to take on, I have one more Dragon Ball question for you.
Okay.
If Dragon Ball came out today, I'm not talking about Super, but Dragon Ball Z, like the main bit that everybody knows, if it came out today with the current climate of anime and the way that it's paced and done, would it last or would it be canceled?
I think it'd be canceled. There's too much filler. Like,
Yeah.
with the other expectations that we see from all the other current like modern day anime, like Attack on Titan, My Hero, Demon Slayer, like those shows are so packed with action and something interesting happening and leaving you on the edge of your seat and wanting to watch more every single episode. That Dragon Ball, when it has the fucking 5 minutes that Frieza's blowing up Namek in 30 episodes, like, people would just stop watching. It's so long and so drawn out. And don't get me wrong, I love the story. It's super cool. It's your classic fucking badassery, but it's so long. I think people would just be like, yeah, they're running out of ideas. They're not, it's too long. If they trimmed it down and made it more abridged, then I think it would do great. But
Dragon Ball Z Abridged is so great.
Yeah, with its filler, it's too much. It's too long. I don't think it could last compared to all these other animes that we have going on right now.
I agree. I'd 100% agree with that. And I think any of the mainstream big three, like I think if One Piece ever broke itself up, rather than going continuously week after week the way that it has, Naruto, stuff like that, I don't think any of them would be able to last in the current climate.
Yeah, and especially with the week to week thing, like the whole week to week waiting a week for something. Like, I have a hard enough time with as much shit as they pack into like Demon Slayer's episodes waiting for a week. So when they're like, I can't even imagine waiting a whole week for a fucking Dragon Ball Z episode, because it's just, there's not a lot going on, but you want to know what happens next. So it just wouldn't, like, people would just get too fed up with it. We're too impatient as a community already. There's no way we'd be able to tolerate Dragon Ball's bullshit.
Yeah, as someone that watched Super week to week from whenever it was coming out, I envy people like you that are going to be able to watch it just fully and complete. Not only watch it fully and completely, but watch it dubbed.
Yeah,
because Dragon Ball's sub is garbage compared to the dub, at least in my opinion. Like,
the dub is fantastic. Like, genuinely, they do a fantastic job with it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So I definitely think that I agree, and that's another topic I like to touch on, is whether, like, the quote unquote big three of anime, if it would last today, and I don't think it would.
Yeah, when they swap up voice actors in like the middle of the Frieza arc too, or like when they're fighting the Ginyu Force, I think people would get fucking furious about that too. I was furious when I watched it, and within a couple episodes, I was used to the voices, but like, that's a big no. Like, you don't do that. You don't just change all the characters all of a sudden. And it's because they swapped like studios or something, right? So, or they had a whole new dub team.
Yeah, I think they brought in some new people, and it was very temporary because very shortly after they brought a lot of the original people back, because I know Goku got swapped for a little bit, Frieza got swapped for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, there was quite a bit that kind of happened in that arc, and then I think they're like, oh shit, bring him back.
Yeah. Because I remember when that happened, I was like first time I was watching it, I was like, what did they do? They ruined it. Like, why would you do that? I was so fucking upset. Like, what are you doing? Like, they just ruined the whole dub for me. And then I'm like, a couple episodes later, I'm like, oh, this is fine. I'm used to it now. Like, but again, if that were something that were to happen to, like, I can't imagine, because like, I watched the Demon Slayer dub. Like, I can't imagine if they swapped the Demon Slayer voice actors halfway through. Like, I'd be fucking furious.
I mean, I think they could throw a Inosuke's voice actor away and get a new one, but that's just me. Inosuke's voice actor is genuinely the only reason that I won't watch Demon Slayer dubbed.
Really?
Because I hear it, and I hear two characters. I hear Kirito, and I hear Meliodas. Because it's the same dude that does it. And I just don't...
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it is.
I actually didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all done by the same guy. And so that's why whenever I heard it, I was like, I don't like that. My brain doesn't appreciate it. I think there would have been better people that kind of fit more of the tone of what they got in the subbed version.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the dude that does it is phenomenal, and props
Yeah.
to him for making it work, because I know Inosuke is such a hard character to pull off, and if I were put
Absolutely.
in that position, I don't think I could do it.
You need to have
So
a level of fucking energy that is you have to have a lot of motherfucking energy to be able to pull it
yes, you
off.
do, and I bet that shit hurts too.
Yeah,
Like to
absolutely.
voice act that, because what I've done, I know hurts me, and I know Inosuke with what would come with that. My God,
Which
I
is
couldn't.
how much he fucking screams. Like, your throat's gotta be sore, dude. Like,
Not only that, but the
you
way
have
he
to
laughs
yell everything
too.
you say. Yeah, like you basically have to yell everything you say. So it's like it would. God, that would be really hard. Like, your throat would be killer.
Yeah. All right. What film will you be having with you on this island?
So this is, I think I can safely say this is my favorite film of all time. Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, Howl's is brilliant, mate.
Oh my gosh, the music, the animation, the story, the character, like everything about it. It's I could watch it back to back to back over and over again. I love, probably my favorite film of all time. Absolutely.
I 100% get that. Ghibli is so timeless in pretty much every variation that you can think of. Everything they do still holds up to today, and holds up better than a lot of stuff today. And Howl's Moving Castle, I know Blue just watched that for the first time whenever we covered it on the podcast, and she fell in love with it.
Oh, love it, dude. Any studio, that really goes for any Studio Ghibli movie, but for me specifically, Howl's Moving Castle, I think that was the first one I ever saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was the first Studio Ghibli movie I ever saw, and I love it. It's so good. I own like 75% of like the Studio Ghibli movies on a steelbook. And they all are like color coordinating steelbooks, and they all have like the same art style. So it's so good. I love it.
Oh, that's sick.
But yeah, definitely like that's a movie I can watch over and over and over and just absolutely love it. It's such a beautiful fucking movie.
It really is. The storytelling is phenomenal. The pacing is also phenomenal. There's so much to love about it.
Yeah. Fantastic movie. So definitely, I think I can safely say that would be my choice.
And then video game.
This is really hard because I'm the kind of person that like devotes their life to a video game for 2 months and then never touches it again. But I think if there's one game I could choose, it'd probably be Skyrim, just because that's a game that I can. Again, it's a very, if you really will like 100% it, it's a very long game. It'd keep you very busy. But I've also played through it so many fucking times, and I still love doing it every time. And if per se I somehow have an internet connection at this island and I can download mods, then it's basically infinite possibilities at that point.
I mean, so, it's your episode. I'll definitely allow it.
We got Starlink over there, so we'll have internet.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Just call up Elon real quick and be like, "Hey man, so listen, I got to download some mods."
We could just send the satellite over here for just like 10 minutes. That'd be great. Thank you.
Just drop me the fiber line. Like, we got this.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then I think that's an easy pick, because it's something that could not only keep me busy for a very long time, but something that I can also enjoy doing for a very long time. So I think that, combined with all the other content I've chose so far, would be a solid fucking setup.
And then with the final piece of content, what is your third and final choice of what you get to keep with you on this island?
So right next to Sword Art, and honestly may eventually surpass it as my favorite anime, is definitely Demon Slayer. I've already talked about it a lot throughout the podcast so far, but holy fucking shit, dude. I have never enjoyed a show so goddamn much.
It is brilliant. It is most certainly on the lines of peak shonen. So I 100% get that. Are you caught up on season 2? Is the dub done?
No, the dub is not done. So I think I'm only like a quarter to half of the way through.
You're in for such
but
a treat,
honestly,
mate.
I think I'm just going to start rewatching from season 1 with the sub, just so I can finish it. And just because I want to watch it, both the sub and the dub. But the dub is really great, like fantastic. I only watch dubs. I watch dubs of show because it's less effort for me to read again.
Yeah.
But I only watch dubs if they're actually done well, because there's a lot of
Mhm.
shows that are dubbed where they don't actually like throw in like the what would you call that? Like the, I guess, like the environment that it's traditionally recorded in. Because in like Japanese, obviously they're recording with all the Foley effects and they're doing it in studio. So like if the character is standing in a big open room, their voice actually echoes throughout the room and you can hear the acoustics.
Mhm.
But in a lot of like lower production animes, the dubs are just recorded on someone talking into a mic, so they don't have acoustics and their voice sounds the
Mhm.
same no matter where they are. So if it's a dub like that, I won't fucking watch it because it just pulls away so much from the show, makes it less immersive, and it just sounds like shit.
Yeah.
So in better production animes like Demon Slayer and stuff like that, I'll watch it because they actually do keep the acoustics and all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, the dub for this one's great. So yeah, I haven't fully finished season 2, but from what I've watched so far, it's got me so fucking hooked. Since I've been watching My Hero, I haven't actually seen, I think, the last 1 or 2 episodes, and I'm considering just holding off and letting more of it come out so I can binge it more, because watching week to week is so fucking hard, dude. It's so
It
hard.
really is, and I'm definitely the only one out of the duo on this podcast that watches stuff week to week.
Mhm.
Blue absolutely refuses to watch anything week to week,
That's
no
understandable.
matter how much we love a show. Because she and I both loved ReZero. I definitely much more than her. I could not get her to fucking watch it, no
I
matter how hard I tried.
I get where she's coming from. I get it. Like, I try to do it, but then I eventually just cave and don't. So,
Mhm.
uh, but if I have other things to keep me busy in the meantime, like because for me right now, again, I have a lot of My Hero to watch, so that's
Yeah.
keeping me plenty satisfied in the meantime. But if I
Mhm.
finish it and Demon Slayer is not fully done yet, like I'm gonna go watch it. Like I can't hold back, you know. I have to have something to keep me stimulated.
I understand. I understand completely. And you're in for a treat. And for everybody that is only watching the show week to week and haven't read the manga, everybody is in for a treat. The next arc is probably my favorite arc out of the whole series
Oh,
because of everything that happens. Also, I'm very much an asshole. As much as I like to play that off, I am very much an asshole. And there's a certain bit in the next season because I know where I have a general sense of where they're going to end the next season,
yeah.
but there's also a certain thing that happens, which is where I would end it because it would be the biggest asshole move of a cliffhanger you could ever
Oh
leave
my
somebody
god.
on for a season.
Oh my god.
And I would do that. I would piss off an entire fandom just because I'm
Oh,
an asshole.
I feel like that's gonna happen now that you fucking say that. That's probably
I
gonna happen.
I don't think they would do that.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess they previously, at least for season 1, they kind of left it on a good, like, definitive ending.
Mm,
Um, to where, like, if they only ever release 1 season, like, that could be the end.
yeah,
But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, now that they know, like, they have the budget and they have the people who will watch it, maybe they will.
I mean, Demon Slayer is the highest grossing anime of all time, especially from a box office perspective. I don't know if you paid attention to the records that Mugen Train was breaking,
Yeah. Holy shit.
but it was the highest selling film in all of 2020.
Wow.
Period. It broke box office records in Japan. It became the number one grossing anime in Japan, the number one grossing anime worldwide. It
Yeah.
was the only thing to have ever dethroned Spirited Away.
Yeah, and that's fucking telling. Like, that is very telling.
Yeah, and it just Ufotable knows what they have, and so they're going to continue to keep fans happy. So, although they'll end an episode on this big thing that I'm talking about, there's no way in hell that they would end the season on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I would do it solely to watch TikTok and Twitter and everything else
You would
melt.
do it just to incite chaos.
I would because I'm the element of chaos. That's what I do. So I get that 100%. But just I love Demon Slayer so much. They've done a fantastic job with the
Genuinely
OPs
have.
and
Yes.
EDs, getting Lisa and Amir to come in and do the OPs for the show. Just you can't get a better duo of people to
Yep.
do done.
It's
It's
fucking
brilliant. I
fantastic.
love Demon
And
Slayer
like,
so much.
god damn, dude, that's like an anime that like if I'm watching it, I'm not doing anything else. Like I am fully attent to it because I want to see every little detail of animation. It's so fucking beautiful, especially like the breathing forms and shit. Like the animation they do
Mhm.
with that is beautiful. Like the demon blood arts are beautiful. Like, oh my god, like, oh, it's so fucking gorgeous. Like that's something I could seriously like watch again. This I feel like this is another thing I could watch and see other details that I didn't see beforehand, watching time and time
Mhm.
again. So such a beautiful anime.
Oh yeah, and you are in for the biggest treat with episode 10 of the Entertainment District
So
arc.
excited.
Hands down the best animation I have ever seen
Wow.
on an anime, period. Just everything that they've done with it. So I can't speak highly enough of this particular bit, but this fight scene takes place for well over half the episode.
Oh hell yeah.
The episode is done on, so typically your standard episode of anime will be done on 2s and 3s. So either every second or third frame will be hand drawn and everything else in between will just kind of be fluid movement.
Mm-hmm.
The fight was done on 1s, so every single frame was animated.
Wow.
They went off on it, and it shows. I
Holy
can't.
crap.
If that gives you any reason to just go ahead and start with a sub and just finish it,
That might.
that fight is 100% worth it. I watched it and I was just done at that point. I was like, fuck it. Ufotable wins. I will never see anything as pretty as that again.
That's really funny
I'm done.
because I just listened to your episode from when the first season came out.
Mhm.
And you were talking about how when they're in the forest fighting the daddy spider, and like the tree falls into the water, that was the best animation you've ever seen.
And just the
So I'm
particle
like,
effects
fuck.
and everything that they did on that was spectacular, and I love that. And I have
So if you're
since
telling me
had
that
all
this
of that
tops that,
explained.
I'm like, fuck, like, oh shit, what am I in for?
So the whole thing with the tree falling in the water, that was like, the whole RTX off and on meme.
Yeah.
This is like, all right, how many fucking 3090s can we cram into a PC to make this bitch as pretty as possible?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It's on that level of, still to this day, like I'm well and done past Demon Slayer now and watching other stuff week to week, and yet I still hold that in such a high regard. I genuinely think the only people that will ever be able to top Ufotable on that one is Ufotable.
Fair enough.
Because I just went and watched the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, and one thing Mappa does spectacularly is how fluid their animation is. Like, I don't know if you've seen JJK, but those fight scenes are some of the most crisp fight scenes I've ever seen. Ooh. Like, they get the fighting animation beautifully.
That's so exciting.
And I'm huge into fight scenes and stuff like that, being a Dragon Ball kid, but there's a difference between how fluid something is and just how fucking pretty Demon Slayer is. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen's great, but Demon Slayer is far and above just the most spectacular animation I've ever seen. So
that's super exciting. I'm
excited
so
to
hyped.
Hear your thoughts about it going forward.
I'm so fucking hyped.
So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it. All right. So with all of that being said, any final thoughts, any more anime related things you want to talk about before we start to get into all the fun plug things?
I don't think so. I think that's a pretty solid setup for the island. Like, I think I'm going to be set. Like, I could spend the rest of my life doing
content.
Yeah.
And just for you, just because you are a homie, I will gladly airdrop you the rest of the Demon Slayer seasons.
Oh, hell yeah. Perfect.
So that way you'll be able to continue on, because I hate to strand you in the middle of a series, considering there's, I would say, probably 2 seasons and a film left if I had to take a guess.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely airdrop you the rest, because I can't do that to a homie. I can't leave you halfway through a series whenever you've got so much content left to enjoy.
Well, even a homie stranded on an island is one thing. Depriving him of the anime that you're letting him watch is another. All right.
Exactly.
That's only something a monster would do.
Exactly. And look, I may be an asshole, but I'm not that much of a heartless asshole. I'll even airdrop you the last bit of My Dress Up Darling too. That way you can finish that up whenever it comes out on Saturday, because I'm not ready for that shit to end.
Oh, me either.
It's gonna be great. So, with all that being said, give us all your plugs. Give us why everybody should go check out the NiccoMoe, other than all the reasons you've given us here already.
All right, yeah. Well, my name is NiccoMoe. I stream on Twitch sometimes. Probably be getting back into it in the near future. So if you wanna be there for that, I make a lot of really head ass content. I'm a very just head ass person in general. I'm very goofy. I'm full of shit post humor. So if you like that, come check me out. My Twitch link is NiccoModee, spelled NiccoModee. 2 E's at the end. All right. I play a lot of. I'm a big variety person, so I play a lot of different shit. I really like anime. I like anime. Yeah, definitely. That's what I play. I play anime. I really like FPS, RPG style games. I also love streaming VR games because it makes for some fantastic fucking moments. So, pretty sure I still have a bunch of clips up on my channel if you want to go check that out. And I'll probably be doing some more just like real life fucking around, just having a good time. I'm all about good vibes. I try to show the most real side of me that I can. I'm not a different person off cam as I am on cam, or at least I try to be that way as much as I can, because I just want to vibe. And to be honest, I am just a fucking head ass person all the time, every day. So when I stream, that's just me embodying that and just sharing it with the world. So yeah, if you want to support me, you want to check me out, twitch.tv/NiccoModee, NiccoModee. Same goes for like my Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so do go follow the NiccoModee. Also, while you are following people, go, check out the podcast on all of its things, youtube.com/BnB Anime, Instagram, Twitter, all that BnB Anime. We try to keep everything the same because, we are very simple people and also stupid to come up with anything creative. So that's where we're at with this. Also, website, www.bnbanime.com. We have all that cool stuff with the fancy voice acting links to pretty much everything we've done, friends of the podcast, all that cool stuff. And I'm not used to doing this outro because this is weird. I don't have like a next episode to plug, because this show is simply just for me to chit chat with homies and just spread the love and positivity to all the people around me. So I don't even know who I have scheduled for the next episode. I just have recordings lined up. So be sure to check out the next episode of this whenever it comes out a month from now. I don't know who's going to be on it, but that someone's going to be here. I hope we don't cancel this.
It'll be great, whoever it is. Whoever it is, it'll be very great. It'll be very entertaining.
It will be. I'm looking forward to it. Nick, thank you so much for joining me on this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thanks have you on here.
Thanks for the invite. I enjoyed it. I had a good time talking with you about the animes.
Of course. I'm always down to chat anime and just chit chat with the homies. Nick and I play a lot of Siege and stuff outside of this, so it's cool to kind of sit down in a quote unquote official but also laid back capacity and just shoot the shit about a medium that we both love. So again, genuinely, thank you for joining me on this. It's been an absolute blast.
I appreciate the opportunity. I really wanted to have someone to talk about this with for a while, so I'm excited I was able to.
Yeah, and then we'll have to get you back on at a later date after you've watched some more Demon Slayer,
after I'm more cultured,
and My Hero. Yeah, so we can talk about that stuff some more, because I'm down to do follow-up episodes of this. Again, I don't know what this is going to turn into, but it's just here for fun and shenanigans. So who knows what's going to happen. But again, thank you for joining me, everybody. Thank you for listening to this. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.